After my grade 6 teacher, Mrs. Rognes, she came into my class and said the towers had been hit. So 9/11 was a terrorist attack against America on September 11th, 2001. So there was two planes. One plane each hit of the Twin Towers. One plane hit the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. And then one plane crashed in a field in Pennsylvania. I was 11 years old back then, so I was in grade 6. And it was hard for me because I remember my teacher, we were in guidance class, and my teacher came in and she told me the towers have been hit. She told our class that. And I didn't understand, so we were watching it on TV, so we didn't understand that it was a terrorist attack at the time. But I remember they kept showing on the live TV the two planes hitting. And they showed the Pentagon had been hit, and then they realized it had been a terrorist attack. And I remember that was really hard as a kid to watch that. Osama bin Laden, he was the founder of 9/11. I remember because we were kind of young. We were grade 6, so some of them took it seriously, and others were just kind of joking. I remember one friend said, my mom says if there's another attack, we're moving to Canada. But then I remember my friend in grade 6, Jared Spooty, he told me, he said, if when I graduate, we are still in war, I'm going to join the army and I'm going to kill these people. And he actually ended up joining the army, which was amazing that he actually stuck to his word. But so that was how he responded, which I thought was really amazing and brave of him to do that out of high school. I remember after my grade 6 teacher, Mrs. Rognes, she came into our class and said the towers had been hit. We all went out to the library. We were watching 9/11 live on a box TV. And so I remember watching it. The second plane had just hit shortly before this, and so there was. The buildings were on fire and smoking. Then I remember them showing the Pentagon had been hit. It was also on fire. And I remember I was young, so I didn't quite understand what was going on, but I still knew enough. I remember seeing stuff fall from the building. And that was really hard because I realized that was people. And then I remember, now as someone who's a teacher, I understand how my teacher was feeling. She wanted to watch it, but then she realized that she needed to protect us as her students. And she quickly got us away because they were showing everything live and people were jumping out to save themselves. Because if you were above the fire, there was no hope of escaping because you were stuck on the top floor. And so that was really hard to watch. I remember shortly after that, she brought us back to our classroom. And I remember, later that day, they had a meeting for all the middle school. We had to meet with the teacher, a guidance counselor. She was just telling us about when we go home, things are going to be different now. She told us that when we go home and turn on the TV, we will be seeing a lot of things and just helping us to process about what we will be seeing. So how did 9/11 affect the geography of America? There was several examples. One would be we went to war with Afghanistan shortly after this, and so that affected us because we sent a lot of American troops to the country for war. A couple years later, in 2003, on our war on terror, we also went to war with Iraq in the Middle East, and so that also affected America because now we were sending Americans soldiers into different countries for war. Travel was changed drastically. We now have security, which we still see today, but security was completely different after 9/11. You actually had to go through a screening process. You couldn't bring a lot of things onto airplanes. The geography of New York was affected because they had to clear the rubble for, I can't remember, but it was a long time that they were clearing the rocks and rubble. And then they rebuilt actually the towers, which we now see today. So that cost a lot of money. The Pentagon had to be rebuilt, but it also brought our country together. And so during this time, there was no Democrat, there was no Republican, we were all one people. So it did bring a lot of unity to America because we all had one thing to fight for.